Today is going to be a good day, family. Welcome to the podcast. I am your host, Regina Lynn. On this podcast, we cultivate a safe space where we can confront uncomfortable conversations. In addition, we strive to create a world where every individual feels prepared, secure, and confident in the plans that they have for the future, knowing that they have provided clarity and peace of mind for themselves and their family. Let's get started in today's episode. In today's episode, we're just going to talk about being prepared for a variety of different emergencies. It just doesn't matter. What do you do if you get an emergency call from your child's school, a phone call from your sister's employment, a phone call from a police officer on the side of the road saying that your number was in somebody's cell phone or in their car to call you or whatever the case may be? What do you do? How does that work? Have you all discussed the plan for if they get the emergency phone call if something happens or they need you to come around and assist them? I think that far too often we underestimate the fact that we may be needed in emergency or that an emergency might even happen. I remember I gave access to my house to a couple of family members and friends. And I had told a young lady, I said, oh, yeah, just come through the garage. She was like, oh, I thought that was a one-time thing. No, it's not a one-time thing. It is there so that if something happens to me or if I need you to go in my house for a reason, you can get in my house through the garage. So I think we underestimate those things that people have put in place for in case of emergency, especially for just anybody, whether you're single, you're married, you're widow or widower, you're elderly, you're young, and or you live alone or you live with other people. Just being able to have someone to step in and be there for you in the case of emergency, you need to make sure you set those things up. So let's just talk about if you get a phone call from the emergency room and they're saying that, hi, this is XYZ doctor from XYZ emergency room, and we have a friend of yours here, and she or he told us to give you a call. What do you do? Have you all had that conversation? Do you know their medical history? Do you know what they're allergic to, what they're not allergic to? Do you know their medical preferences? So the bottom line is we need to start having the conversations, the tough conversations, the uncomfortable conversations where we know what to do and when to do it. We can't be in this world alone. We can't live alone. Some people do walk around thinking, I don't need nobody. You do need somebody. And stop thinking that. There's a song that I need you to survive. And we do need each other to survive in so many areas of our life, not just in the case of emergency. I just want you to take the takeaway from this particular podcast is be ready for the emergency, whatever that emergency is. Have the conversations with your family, your friends, your neighbors, people you're close to, so that if they get the phone call, they know what to do. They know what your wishes are. They know how to assist you and help you or come to your aid when necessary. And then you also, on the flip side, who are you the emergency contact for? Know those things so that when and if something happens, you are prepared to assist and to step in and just stand in the gap for that person. And then those that you've listed as your emergency contact, they tell them, don't just let the first time that they realize, the first time that they are notified that they are on your emergency contact list is when they get the emergency call. They have no idea, like, oh, I didn't know. And sometimes we do that out of fear, out of uncertainty. If you're going to list somebody as an emergency contact, then make sure that they know that they are listed as the emergency contact. Don't let them just get caught off guard and not sure what to do and what your wishes are. And I know one of my family members, they live close to me. They was like maybe 20 minutes away from me, and their children's school was about 20 minutes away from me. Now, although I'm going to be honest, their preference was to list their mother as the emergency contact, but that didn't make sense because their mother lived over 500 miles away. So if an emergency indeed happens, who can get there the fastest? That would be me, because I'm only like 20 minutes away from the children's school. So listing their mom didn't make common sense. But then they told me that if the school calls, handle it and then call my mom to make sure she knows what's going on. And so the mother is the secondary phone call, and then I was the first phone call. So those things make sense. Those things need to be put in place, and those conversations need to be had before an emergency happens. So if you are the emergency contact for somebody, or you name someone as emergency contact, make sure that they know. When selecting an emergency contact, you need to pick someone that is responsible, resourceful, and able to respond, and don't get rattled or stressed over being stressed, right? Or in tough situations, someone that can handle their own, because not if they can handle their own, they can definitely handle your affairs as well. Again, in case they are listed as the emergency contact, make sure you have an emergency contact for your children's school, even at church, for your place of employment, when you go on vacations. And when you go on vacation, don't list the person that's on vacation with you as emergency contact, because most likely if you're on vacation, you have emergency, guess what? The person you're traveling with also has an emergency, because you all are together. So it's so many things that going in selecting an emergency contact that we need to take into consideration when listing someone as the emergency contact. So that is, if they're with you, if they travel with you, that's probably not a good person. If they don't respond well to stress and under pressure, that's probably not a good person. Always select someone that is level-headed, that is not an extremist in so many variety of different ways, and don't someone that doesn't, what's the back lack of a better words, so bent up on their opinion that they're more apt to carry out their opinion than opt to carry out your wishes in a particular situation. Also, someone that respects your religion, because you may have decided different methods or way that you want care. However, if they don't respect your religion and how you worship and practice your religion, then they may very well not carry out your wishes, because they think that how you worship the Lord and you practice your faith, that they're like, oh yeah, I can't do that. So you have to take that into consideration. Someone that holds grudges and are unforgiving is definitely not a good person to be an emergency contact, because you may want them to call a particular person or have a particular person do something for you, but because they don't like that person or they haven't forgiven that person, they refuse to call. So again, they're not helping you or acting in your best interest in that case, in that particular instance. So make sure that when you are, this is actually a good topic to talk about. When you are in the space of selecting someone that is your emergency contact, you have to take these things into consideration. The bottom line about this particular episode is your emergency contact, whether you are selecting emergency contact or you are the emergency contact. Thank you for connecting with us on today's podcast. We are dedicated to helping families navigate life's most challenging moments, providing peace of mind for themselves and their loved ones. Until next time, hug yourself, love like you've never been hurt before, and straighten your crown. Peace.